Hey YouTube, Kira Qualia here, bringing you all an update to my Cardfight Vanguard Thegrea deck profile for post-Clash of the Heroes. With the latest Cardfight Vanguard booster set, we were given new support for the glitter decks, with the next deck that I will be updating from the lineup being Thegrea. Big thanks to my buddy Anthony for letting me borrow his Thegrea deck for the video. The deck got the new Grade 3 Epée de Justice Thegrea, which helps with the overall persona power of the deck, giving you the option to copy the abilities of the Thegrea that you have in the Soul for this new unit, adding to the Persona Ride power and using some of our other cards in the deck, like our Order, Oath of Vengeance Thegrea, helps with the overall consistency of those Persona Rides and just the cards we can draw into and then utilize with our many different setups. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So we'll go ahead and start off with the Ride deck. Our starter is Knight of Integrity Thegrea. When this unit is wrote upon, if you went second, draw a card. The standard starter for D format, we're actually running the pink Moth Girl Maple for our grade 1 in the lineup, just because we can use it for the Soul Blast option with our Spiral Cutie Angel for the Soul Blast, putting onto the bottom of the deck, and then giving us this for the Drop Zone call as an easier grade 1 Maple in the Drop Zone to call out, and also for the fact that our grade 2 Thegrea, Harsh Training Thegrea, just has to have a Thegrea ride on top of it to fully utilize its own card ability for our main ride deck card being our One Who Walks the Path of Light Thegrea. And this is also the only other copy we're running of this card in the deck as well, because we have the other grade 3 and the One Who Blooms in the Dark Thegrea for the actual ones we'll be using for the Persona Ride power. You have the option to restand with this card, and it also has the additional power, when I say restand, to restand the rear guards, because the Darkness Thegrea is the one that actually restands the Vanguard. And then starting with the main deck, we are running 4 copies of the new Epée de Justice Thegrea. When this unit is placed by riding from a grade 3 with Thegrea and its card name during the ride phase, until the end of this turn, this unit also regards having the same card name as the unit wrote upon. Search your deck for up to 1 card with Thegrea and its card name, put into your soul, and shuffle your deck. So then this allows you to search out the other copies of Thegrea that we run in the deck also. And on Vanguard Circle, once per turn, you can discard a card from your hand, choose up to 1 grade 3 unit with Thegrea in its different card name from your soul, and ride it as stand. If you wrote a card, bind this card, activate Persona Ride, and you cannot ride until the end of turn. So this is the other setup that you can utilize, giving you the double Persona Ride for the card being regarded as the name, and then being able to activate the Persona Ride with the Thegrea as well as the one that you wrote on top of for that different name. And also the 3 additional copies of One Who Blooms in the Dark Thegrea. The normal ride from hand with Thegrea from a different unit. This one also becomes a Persona Ride, and you retire 2 of your grade 2 or less rear guards to have the restand power, and then also retiring your opponent's rear guards in the same column potentially as this one, giving you use for your maples in the deck as well, which for the grade 2 lineup, we are running 4 copies of the original Maple as well. From the drop zone, when your grade 3 or greater Vanguard is placed during your ride phase, if you do not have a unit with Maple in its card name, you may call this card to rear guard, setting up your grade 2 for the unit with Maple, and then also for the glitter with Thegrea at the end of the battle this unit attacked. You can Soul Blast 1 or more cards, choose a card from your soul with the same grade as the sum of the grades from your Soul Blast for this cost, put it into your hand, and put this unit into the soul. Building up your soul power, but also giving you some resources from the soul to make full use of as well with your Maple. For the new grade 2 that we are also running in the deck, we are running the 4 copies of Retrospective Dragon with your Retrospective Dragon. When this unit is placed on rear guard, if you have a Vanguard with Thegrea and its card name, Soul Blast 1, discard a card from your hand, search your deck for up to 1 grade 3 or 2, set order, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So having a search for the Oath of Vengeance Thegrea order is a big help with this set order that we run in the deck. At the end of the battle, this unit attack, effect, you retire one other rearguard, choose one of your glitter units, and gets plus 5,000 till end of turn. So you have retire power, but the main purpose of this grade 2 is to be able to search out your go-to order that you can utilize, which we'll get to and go over when we get to the actual order section. And then also the 3 copies of Drilling Angel. For when it's placed on rearguard, put a unit from your drop zone into your soul, look at 3 cards on top of your deck, and choose up to 1 card with the same name as that card from your soul, and put for this card for the cost, and put it into your hand. And then being able to call it, my apologies, not put into hand, and then shuffle your deck. So then if you place one other card with the same name, you just have that chance to reveal the top cards of your deck and search that additional card as well for you to use. For the discard cost that works with the grade 1 Maple from the Ride deck, the 3 copies of Spiral Cutie Angel. Once discarded from hand during your Ride phase, Soul Blast 1, put this unit on the bottom of the deck and draw a card. So you'll Soul Blast the Maple to set it up in your drop zone for you to use. And when it's placed on rearguard, if you Persona Road this turn, Counterblast 1, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose a card from among them, put it into your hand, and put the rest on the top or bottom of the deck. So setup power, getting a specific card you may need into your hand with this card, but it's mostly used for that discard power that you can use for your Persona Ride option. And then for the other grade 1s, with Maple being our main go-to, we also have a little bit of draw power in the form of Dragon Tree Wretch, Soldo Sakab. From the back row, when your rearguard is placed in the front row, same column as this unit, Counterblast 1, and draw a card. Like I said, it's just draw power for you to utilize some of the other counterblasts we have in the deck when you're not using them for Spiral Cutie Angel. And then also having the option for your Thegrea as well for the restand power, with the last of the grade 1s being the 4 copies of Aegis Mare Dragon. If you have Elementaria Sanctitude, you can always replace 1 copy of this card for a copy of that Blitz order. But for the set order, we can search out with Retrospective Dragon, 2 copies of Oath of Vengeance, Thegrea. You can play this if you have a Vanguard with Thegrea and its card name. From the order zone, if you have a Vanguard with Thegrea, when you Persona Ride, you draw 2 cards instead of 1, and increase by 15,000 power instead of 10,000. So the draw 2 definitely does help, but also being able to give a plus 15 adds to the overall pressure that you can use with your deck, and just the power that you could potentially be hitting. And once again, it's a searchable one, so you really only need the 2 of copies. I know this is more of a pricey card to run, but definitely needed for the deck's overall power pressure it can provide. And then for the trigger lineup, we're going with the 7 critical, so 4 copies of Blade Feather Dragon and 3 copies of White Fang Witch Disma for the added pressure with your restanding Vanguard or your restanding rearguards, depending on the Thegrea you have. 4 copies of the Protection Magic Pierogi. This could potentially be a front trigger as well. It's down to player preference on what you want. With all the Persona Ride we do in the deck, it helps for the potential to go for more of a front row pressure with the front trigger, but once again, just player preference, with the heal spot being 3 copies of Palpitation Angel and the 1 copy of Tear Sorceress, just for the added critical pressure to increase the shield of this heal, with our over trigger being the Amartanoa to have our rearguards get the potential drive trigger checks as well for more pressure against your opponent. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy. Once again, big thanks to my buddy Anthony for letting me borrow his Thegrea deck for the video. And as always, I'll be working on some of the other decks from the Clash of the Hero booster set, so look forward to it. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And Kira Qualia out.